I think particularly for the benefit of our non-Muslim listeners, could you just characterize the Ahmadiyya community for us? Tell us what it is.
You see, Ahmadiyya community is the community which was formed in 1889 according to the prophecy of the founder of Islam. He foretold that in the 14th century, the Messiah and the Mahdi, the guided one, will come, who will try to bring Muslims together into one hand, and also preach the true teaching of Islam to non-Muslims. So, and even not only that the Prophet of Islam, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, foretold this thing, it was the prophecy of all the previous prophets that in the latter days, a man will come who will bring the whole of the mankind into one hand and make them realize the duty towards their Creator and towards their fellow beings. So we believe that that man has come in the person of Mirza Ahmad Qadian, and he founded the Ahmadiyya community. So this is the main thing which differentiate us from the other Muslims. The other Muslims believe that that person has not yet come.
And explain to us, if you would, the caliphate, because Ahmadiyya Muslims already live under a caliphate, a non-political caliphate.
So it was also prophesied by the Prophet of Islam that after the demise of the Messiah and Mahdi, then his succession will continue with the Khilafat. And we believe that after his demise in 1908, Khilafat, the true Khilafat of Islam started, according to the prophecy of the Prophet of Islam. And I am the fifth Khalifa of the founder of Ahmadiyya community. It is all not that that was the wish of the founder of the community, but it is according to the prophecy, we believe, of the founder of Islam, the Holy Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And the Khilafat was to continue because after the demise of the founder of Ahmadiyya, that Messiah al-Islam, Mahdi and Messiah al-Islam, as Mirza Ahmad al-Islam, Khilafat had to continue the work which was started by the founder of Ahmadiyya. And that task was to preach the true teaching of Islam. And that is what we have been doing.
And I know that central to Ahmadiyya belief and teaching is peace, care for mankind, for one another, and loyalty to one's country. To an awful lot of people listening, they will now be associating the word caliphate with violence.
The teaching of the Quran is the Quran. I can show you. The nutshell of the teaching is that man should believe in one and omnipotent God and obey his orders, his commandments given to the prophets. And we believe that Quran contains all the teachings which bring man closer to their Creator or his Creator. And the second thing which we can see in the Holy Quran is that man, a true believer, should discharge his duties towards his fellow being, as I have told earlier. So there are two main things. And the Khilafat, if it is said that the Khilafat needs some sort of harshness or some sort of militant actions, it is just wrong. Khilafat has to continue the task given to the Holy Prophet of Islam in the Holy Quran, and that is to bring humankind closer to their Creator, and second, to serve their humanity in the best way.
What do you believe then is the source of the extremism and the violence, particularly characterised in Islamic State?
Because now the time has come. It is a right time for the person to come, according to the prophecies. And when the other Muslims see that the person has not yet come, all those so-called scholars and clerics or leaders who have their vested interests, they try to bring frustrated people together and try to use them for their own vested interests.
But do you believe, that the degree of violence we're seeing, particularly from Islamic State, do you believe that that is just a kind of, or comes from a deep misunderstanding of Islam?
Yes, of course. This is what I'm saying, that because it was the time when the person was to appear. And had these Muslims believed on the person who was sent by Allah, according to our belief, they would not have behaved in this way. So it is only frustration that is causing all this thing. And those so-called clerics or leaders or scholars are trying to use those people and use their frustration.
For evil means?
For evil means, yes, of course.
You'll know that this week in Britain, some British Muslims were concerned and angered about a letter sent by a government minister urging them to do more, urging mosques to do more to counter extremism. So
I think no sane and true Muslim can react in this way. This is why that letter is, there's nothing wrong in the letter. This is a message just to request the imams and the leaders to guide their followers in a more appropriate and proper way and with concerted effort to the right path. So I don't see anything wrong in the letter.
Where's that anger coming from then?
We can say not our leadership, the Muslim leadership is not rightly guided. I think they feel that if government is interfering in their manner, government might take another step to come into their matters with regards to their religion. But I feel it is their misunderstanding and wrong understanding which they are trying to construe.
The Ahmadiyya community is persecuted in some parts of the world. When the offices of Charlie Hebdo in Paris were attacked 10 days ago, 2 weeks ago, just describe to me some of your thoughts and feelings about both the attack and the reasons given for it.
There's no reason, no genuine reason to attack. You see, they attacked for the action of that Charlie Hebdo, which was done some 2-3 years ago, right? So after they are trying to take revenge after 3 years, instead of cooling the matter down, they tried to flare it up by attacking. So it's just nonsense. And you see, it is said that the circulation of that magazine was only 60,000. And now it has gone to 5 million, over 5 million.
So they failed?
Not they only failed. They try to incite and fan the hatred against the Prophet of Islam. And they are the part of it. What they wanted to achieve, they could not even, it's just nonsense.
When young men, as we've seen this week in Britain, a young solicitor, a lawyer, a Muslim, calling on other Muslims to attack Western interests, saying that Western foreign policy has caused the extremism that we are seeing. What would you say to young men like him?
You see, we also have our youth organization. And if you ask any of the young Ahmadi Muslim, he will never tell you in this way. You see, the country where you are living in is your country. And according to the saying of the Prophet of Islam, the love of your country is part of your faith. So we cannot say that you should do this or that. So if the policy or the government policy is not right, then there is a democratic way to approach the House.
To argue your case.
Through your MPs, through your politicians.
Do you believe in the contact that you have had with government ministers, both here and abroad, do you believe that we understand extremism?
You see, you might understand extremism to some extent, but you don't understand it fully. Had you understood it properly, your action would have been something different.
Which action?
You are taking against extremism. You see? Now, again, there was the news that United States government is sending some 400 soldiers to train the rebels in Syria. And you have already experienced that the formation of ISIS is due to those rebels. Quite a number of those rebels joined ISIS, and that is causing the threat to the whole world. So it is quite possible that some of the ISIS members come to join rebels again and get better training and go back again to fight against you. So you must try to adopt some sane policies.
Imagine some of those for me. Tell me how you would see what those policies are.
I have spoken on it at length in my previous peace symposium address, that how are they getting, from where are they getting money? What are the source? Where are they getting their arsenal from? See, even how do they sell their oil? If you put sanctions on some country, they cannot even sell their oil, but ISIS is still getting money out of it.
So you believe more political solutions?
Where is this? How do they get arsenal? So there must be some supply line. Why can't you cut that supply line?
So do you want more imaginative political responses rather than military responses?
You see, you should use the neighboring countries who are very much ready to help.
And I'll help.
To help you and to stop all this nonsense and just to destroy the ISIS activities. So if the neighboring countries' armies are trained and given proper ammunition, arms and everything, then I think that would be a better way.
But which countries? I mean, I know we're getting into military strategy, and
I don't know.
Which is neither mine nor your area.
You have your Foreign Office and Defense Ministry and other offices. They know how to tackle this problem.
Do you believe that, we're seeing so much violence and hearing so much extremist talk and messages of killing, and do you believe that conversations, even like this one between you and me, are loud enough in the world, in that mix?
I don't think the world is getting the right message. When there is a happening of joining 10 people to ISIS, it is very widely publicized.
You mean British Muslims going out, for example?
Going out and
Yeah.
all things. And if it is any action taken by sane people or sane Muslims, true Muslims, to establish peace, that is not given right publicity, as we have been doing. See? So it is the media which is playing their role. If the media is honest enough, it might be honest, but honest enough, then you see, what did they do during the Ireland trouble? You see, they just joined hand. The media said that we are not going to give any publicity to the actions, and nobody knew what happened in the Ireland at that time. So if media plays a sensible role, and instead of fanning the hate matters, try to let the people understand the true message of Islam and the true effort which is being done by the true Muslims, like we Ahmadis do, then I think the people will themselves do justice, and they will understand what is right and what is wrong. Now only they are getting one side story, and they think that the action of 3 or 4 people is the representation of 1.5 billion Muslims. It is not.
Well, there are strong messages from our political leaders. It's great that we're getting it from you today, but there are strong messages from many of our political leaders that extremism and Islamic State and others do not represent Islam. They come on certainly a weekly basis.
They are sending it, but it is not being welcomed as the negative point of it.
Do you, for those non-Muslim people listening to you, who will welcome all your words of peace, I'm sure, and welcome, all that they can learn about the Ahmadiyya community, but they will also want, for example, the right to offend, the right for the Charlie Hebdo magazine to do the cartoon it did the week after the killings, that they'll want a number of things to be okay on the streets of Britain and in the magazines of Britain and in conversations. What do you say to those people who fear that your message might be, you can't do this?
So somebody wrote that right to offend does not mean to offend is right. So, see, we need some harmony and peace in the world. If such actions are welcomed or fanned by the media or by any of the society organization, then you cannot establish peace in the world. So every person, every organization, all the media should realize their responsibility and play their role, as I've said.
To act peacefully.
To cool down the people, to give good news to the people, instead of inciting them for the odds.
And do you think that there is too much focus? You sound, I mean, tell me I'm wrong if I'm wrong, but you sound like you think there is too much focus on political rights and not enough focus on mutual respect, because it's clear to me that your belief, at the heart of your belief, is that mutual respect is very important.
Mutual respect is very important, yes. But what is the difference between political right and mutual respect? What is the...
My understanding is that somebody might say it is my absolute political right to express myself any way I wish.
Yes,
that can be in how you dress,
have
it can be in how you write.
To destroy your sentiments or to tease somebody is your political right.
Some people would say it is, yeah.
No, it is not. You see, when your civil right and political right and freedom is that you can move your stick when you have the space, But when the nose of other person starts, then your freedom is stopped there. Then this is the right of that person whose nose is going to be stuck by, your stick.
So you have to always take the other into account.
See, if you feel the respect of others with the political rights, you can create peace and harmony in the society. What I understood from Islam is it gives more emphasis in discharging your duties towards others. So you owe to others instead of trying to get your rights. Because if you are giving more emphasis or doing more effort to get your rights, then it might be possible that you try to grab somebody's right.
Just to finish, how worried are you about extremism, not just in the UK, but in the world?
You see, as long as these organizations are there, there's a real fear of extremism everywhere in the world, not only in the UK, but all over Europe and Asia. Even in Pakistan, we are facing extremism. Although, because of law, we are being persecuted in Pakistan, but that law gives liberty to extremists to do whatever they like against Ahmadis. So, every off and on, we should see that one or two Ahmadis are being martyred or killed. So this is being done by Taliban. Even the military courts or anti-terrorist courts have given their verdict just recently against two accused who were caught by the Ahmadis during the 2010 attack in our mosque. And one of them has been given death sentence and other life imprisonment. But now that it is not the end, we know that there's more threat to Ahmadis because the organization supporting them will try to organize more attacks against Ahmadis. So this decision is not going in favor of us. Even it is an alarming situation for us.
Do you think here in the UK we have an understanding of Islamist extremism? Or do we still underestimate it, do you think?
I think you are underestimating. You have to do more. You are trying only to focus Jews at present. But that is not only, they can attack on any place or anyone or any government installation even. So after the attack of France, you think that it is only Jewish community is unsafe here. It is not right.
You think
anything can happen with anybody.
If you say we're underestimating it, and I will finish now, you say we're underestimating it, what one, perhaps two things do you want to see in this country to improve the situation somewhat?
You see, your police should be given more, powers. What policeman can do with the stick, whereas the opponent is holding a semi-automatic rifle. So he will kill the policeman, and you see, now the life of your policeman or woman is also at stake.
We do have armed officers, but just not every officer. Is it time for every officer to be armed?
You see, now, as in Canada and America, police should be given some powers. Whenever they see anybody with wrong intention, although it should not happen like as it happened in America, that just you kill a teenager without reason. But with sense, they at least to protect themselves, they should have something. If there's a fire from the other side, at least if one policeman is killed, and the other can at least try to protect that area.
And do you want a greater focus on the peaceful work of Muslims in this country as well?
Yes, and then the sermons of all the mosques should be monitored during 5 days. Though no hate matter should be delivered from the mosques, from the imams.
Well, how do you do that? You know,
You
put
see?
spies inside every mosque to listen?
No, you are already doing it. It is the information, and government, the Home Ministry has the right to have that information. If anything is being done by the government just to create, to establish law and order, then it's not spying. You can oppose the policies of the governments, but to speak against the country, that we shall destroy Britain or this and that, and that means the man is not the citizen of the country. He is the enemy of the country.
But is that still happening in many mosques?
I don't know, because if I do it, it is spying. But I know that I can see from the Urdu papers that some of the imams speak against, for instance, against us. So it is a hate matter. So, and they can incite any Muslim to go and kill any Ahmadi here. Even it can happen here.
Does it happen here?
It happened here that in Tooting, one of our girl was attacked by a Muslim because of this hate speech. Quite a number of shops here, in Muslim shops, who refuse to entertain Ahmadis if they know they are Ahmadi.
They won't employ them.
Not only they employ them, they will not even sell their items.
I think there's a belief, it might be wrong, but I think there's a belief in this country that the intensity of teaching in mosques has changed. The intensity of Islamist preaching in some mosques has changed and isn't happening.
Yes, sometimes, yes. Even any hate matter was being delivered by the imams in the past from 10 mosques, or 3 weeks a month. Now it might be 1 week, once a Friday after 2 months. But you have to monitor the madrasas. And yes, and people, if the madrasas, you have to see, the government have to see what is being taught there in their Islamic schools. Here, their syllabus and curriculum should be very well monitored.
Do you believe the madrasas are teaching anti-British?
Yes, it is on the papers, yes. Sometimes, yes. But in the same way, our other government schools should also, there are some teachers. Even just yesterday I received a complaint from one of the mother that her daughter went to the school and the teacher showed them the caricatures of the Prophet made long ago in the Danish magazine or newspaper. And then after that she showed Charlie Hebdo's caricatures. And there were quite a number of Muslim girls who shouted, "What are you doing? We don't want to see this." You say, then what the reply of the teacher was, that if you don't want to see these caricatures, it means you are not only supporting, you are supporting those killers who killed those cartoonists. So what message you are going to give to those young girls who are only of the age of 10 or 11? Both sides should have to be sensible. And media can play the role.
Well, I hope we are in this conversation. Are you optimistic about solving some of these
I'm always
thorny
optimistic.
issues? You're always optimistic. Okay.
Yes, we are optimistic. This is why we are giving the true message. And this is why hundreds of thousands of people join us every year from among peaceful Muslims and other religious groups as well, yes.
Thank you very much.